So yeah, until the electricity cuts out, Wrestling's Extra this week, we're gonna do it quite different. Normally we have it on an iPhone, but I think it makes sense to do it like this. It's like a cool way. Was already everything already set up, but there was a chat online. El presented us that we should talk about Vince's top 10 madnesses that he's done. El, you've got the nice list there.
No, I don't have it. I wasn't. I can do it.
You're not prepared. We can all go.
I can always do it, but you know,
we can all go.
Try and be positive today.
You know, we can make it. We can. Okay, it's gonna sound so evil. Hopefully, it doesn't come across that we can laugh at it. The bit stupid ones that he's done, and we're like, that was dumb. For example, him and Durag saying, you know, the N-word.
I wouldn't even have put that. I wouldn't even have. Do
you know what? That's him being a character. But if we're talking about him madnesses, we're talking about him when he had to. Do you remember when he wore the what do you call it, the neck thing, and he had to. He lied that he said his neck was broken.
We can do this if you want. Like,
no, let's go. Let's go. We got 10 minutes.
All right. Worst things Vince McMahon has ever
done.
Number one. There's so many. I'll let you decide. You guys can decide, yeah? So, he was accused of covering up child molestation in the WWF for years and years.
I remember that one.
Jesus Christ!
Have you not seen it?
He had
it's on YouTube.
He had known paedophiles working in the company, and everyone knew, and he kind of covered it up.
Fucking hell.
So, that's one. That's one.
I remember that. I've not seen it.
Dark Side of the Ring, innit?
It was on BBC. It was on BBC as well.
I don't think it was on Dark Side of the Ring.
Someone was talking about it.
Probably.
I sent the link.
A few of the higher ups or something like that.
I put the link in the group chat. Have you man not seen this? Yeah, I done it like literally 2 years ago.
Jesus.
It was a couple people that were accused of child molestation, and they covered it up in the company, and it was a massive black eye for them at the time. And I mean, whether or not you believe he covered it up is a different story. I think he covered it up, but you know, that's one thing that pops into my head that he done that was quite that's pretty bad. But you know, it's 30 years ago, and he fired everyone eventually. He actually fired Pat Patterson too. Okay. Pat wasn't involved in it, but I think Pat was gay, and I think that his name got thrown in there just for the sake of it, and they brought him back eventually, but that was a bad time for them. The Owen Hart one is something that people bring up, but I don't even know if I'd put that in there, but go on. Owen died and they continued the show, and I think sometimes I think to myself, I won't hold that against Vince McMahon because, like, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, all right, let's just keep going. It's one of those things. I don't know if. I don't know. It's a tough situation.
Somebody died.
Yeah, someone
died.
They
didn't know at the time.
I think the show going on is madness, isn't it?
It's a tough situation to be in.
Was it whose fault was it again? Well, I'm not trying to put
it was the. I don't want to say it was his fault. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, he didn't want it to happen. It was his fault because they paid the company to do a job, and they went cheap. Yeah, and they paid for.
That's risk assessment wise.
It was really
fucking
bad.
Fisherman's.
Like, if you see the hook,
watch the Dark Side of the Ring. That one, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, and he didn't want to be up there either.
Yeah,
he didn't want to be up there. So, you know, but to me, it was the stuff afterwards because he sued. You know, she sued them, and they counter-sued. And Vince McMahon really, I mean, they were trying to dig up information on Owen Hart. They were trying to find out what affairs he had, and all sorts to try and tarnish his reputation so that she could settle out of court. So that was pretty bad. He obviously didn't have any affairs, so they couldn't tarnish his reputation, but they tried to. What else was there? There was obviously there's a lot of racial stuff with WWE in terms of gimmicks and characters and stuff like that that they've used over the years.
Well, the Kamala thing, I know Kamala pressed charges against that.
Kamala was there. He was Kamala before, though. He was Kamala before. Yeah. Jerry Lawler. That's Jerry Lawler's gimmick, Kamala. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Jim Harris was the guy, and he was working there for ages, and it was Jerry Lawler's idea to put him in makeup, and the vignettes, the early Kamala vignettes were filmed in Jerry Lawler's garden.
Yeah, I remember something serious.
Yeah. But I mean, WWF used to have a reputation of like getting black wrestlers.
Was it Slick?
Slick, yeah, really. Chicken. I mean, God, the vignette with the chicken and you know, and Saba Simba. They got Tony Atlas in, and they made him. They said you can't speak English, and everyone knew it was Tony Atlas. you know, Flash Funk was a
So
pimp.
it's not funny, but I
Yeah,
find
yeah,
it
yeah.
funny, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Who's the guy that used to? Mr. Hughes? You remember Mr. Hughes?
Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes wasn't like they
No, he
didn't
was
do
about
anything bad
what?
with Mr. Hughes.
Like, he appeared on WCW as well.
Yeah, he's WCW wrestler, Big Cat.
He had a feud with Undertaker as well.
Cat
Do you remember that?
Curtis. Yeah, it was
And
horrible.
he sold Undertaker's.
His urn, yeah, it was
Yeah.
awful.
So wait, they used that. They used that twice.
Urn. A lot of people stole the urn.
Undertaker's
Godfather took it.
How can he get robbed like that? It's chat to your boy, you know. He's getting nubbed, bro.
I will say this about progression and stuff because you guys, you know, I will say this: the WWF have really come along over the last couple of years.
I'll
in terms
go
of,
give it to them. Yeah.
you know, and it took him years because when Jim Ross was head of talent relations, he was always trying to get more black wrestlers in the main event, and always he signed black wrestlers. He's always because he'd come from promotions where blacks were always the top stars, and he was always trying to get blacks in the main event. Ahmed Johnson, they tried with him, it didn't work out. But I think after Ahmed Johnson, I don't even know if they tried anyone for years after that. Really, who was after Ahmed? The Rock.
The Rock.
You
But
wanna count
we
him?
didn't know. A lot of people didn't know The Rock was fully.
But they embraced the Samoan side.
Yeah, because they embraced
Yeah.
the Samoan thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they tried with Lashley, but then Lashley left because Michael Hayes called him the
Basi-
N-word.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What?
so he left.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
When? I didn't hear about that.
Lashley, what year did Lashley like really start in that company?
Oh, 5.
Oh,
he
5,
signed.
yeah.
He
He
signed
came
in
And he
05.
left. He left in
OVW,
those.
Oh, yeah.
LVW, yeah. He used to wear like commando pants, innit?
Black, yeah.
Booker T
black-
as well.
Dun, dun,
They
dun,
got
dun,
Booker T.
dun, dun.
They finally got Booker T up top. in 06.
I love that entrance though.
But yeah, I don't know what changed in their mind, but they've got. So much black guys on TV
The
now.
TV now is crazy.
There's probably more black wrestlers in the WWF right now than there was in every single wrestling promotion for the last 30 years. There's that many. Because wrestling promotion used to have one. They used to have every promotion had one black wrestler, and he always did jobs. You know, Coco Beware was always a WWF guy. Like he was always in the Pistol Pez Watley in WCW was always a guy that they always had.
Who's that brother that he's like an army marshal?
Craig Pittman.
Yeah,
He was a real fighter. He was
Really?
a Valley Tudo guy. Yeah,
He
used
was
to do
good, though.
no-holds barred tournaments.
He was good
He
though.
used to fight the Gracies. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. He used to fight. He used to do Valley Tudo tournaments in Brazil, and he fought Hickson and Henzo Gracie.
Wow,
he's a
crazy.
super tough guy. Like,
Yo, you can see by his neck, like he's like proper. Have you seen him before, Craig Pittman? He had a lot of matches. He had a lot of matches in '96. A lot of matches.
Okay.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. What else can you add to the list? Is there anything else he's done that's crazy?
oh no, there's loads. Like the Vince McMahon, he was accused of sexual harassment quite a few times, sexual assault a couple times as well. And he's not the only one, you know.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Eric Bischoff was once accused of soliciting sex with his wife for a threesome. Years ago.
God, I'm laughing because this
Dark
is
side
mad.
of
I'm laughing
I'm
because
saying
this
how
is
much
mad.
content Dark Side have, but anyways,
I'm laughing
well,
because this is mad.
Vince McMahon has done. He's done a lot, man. Like even the deal with the Saudis. Obviously, there's a Trump stuff as well. He donated $6 million to Trump the first time round, and then the last time when Trump. I think the second time offended me because he donated $9 million to Donald Trump when Trump was trying to suppress the black votes, and he was doing his anti-BLM thing last year, and they still gave him $9 million during that period.
Was it so? You see when they do the stuff, when they invest, when they put money, when they give money to Trump and stuff for political campaigns, is that like a return on investment for that, or is it just give it to him just as a support?
Linda worked for Trump. She was a part of.
So she's just taking money from the other.
She was part of the Trump administration.
I
so,
remember that, yeah.
But you know they were giving Trump money because obviously they wanted him to be president.
So what does that do for WWE? What, like, for example, I know apparently New Balance also gave money to Trump as well, but what does that do for them? Is there like a return of
tax breaks because tax wasn't charging. Trump's whole thing was is that if you earn above a certain amount, you don't have to pay as much tax. Okay. So especially for corporations weren't paying hardly any tax. So companies like WWE would have really benefited from Trump being president. With Biden, on the other hand, you have to pay more tax.
Yeah.
So that's it. But I always felt that when you've got a guy who's doing all that stuff and you donate money to him, it just doesn't look. This doesn't look good at all, you know. But you know, Vince McMahon is without a doubt the best wrestling promoter ever. I think he's the best promoter in general, really.
100.
I agree.
I agree. Who better?
No one.
But it's,
I can't think of anyone.
Dana White's pretty good,
As
but
it
he
might
got
sound,
longevity.
I don't think Vince McMahon would have been able to become the best promoter if he didn't do all of this mad stuff.
Vince McMahon, he covered it. There's a murder thing accusation with Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah, the Jimmy Snuka. I was about to say
the
that.
briefcase and the money.
Man went to the Fed station with a briefcase, shut the door, and then Jimmy's at a bin. Yeah, it's nuts.
Jimmy put that in his book.
Yeah,
He actually wrote that in his book,
that's crazy.
and then he denied it ever happened.
Wait,
But it's
you
in
got your book though?
It's in your book, and he still
Did he
said
write it
it.
himself?
It was with
autobiography.
yeah, with Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy can't write good, but like he did that, and also then there's a thing with the territories where he stole everyone's. Vince McMahon used to get guys.
Yeah, I
and
remember that. He did it. Isn't that thing where he made a pledge to every single promotion saying, "I'm not going to. We're just going to work together, but I'm not going to take over your company." And eventually, just took every. Do you know what it is? I hear it.
He took
I
everyone's
hear it.
talent.
I hear it.
And he
Do
also
it.
paid them extra so they didn't work their notice as well.
Fuck.
You know, Hulk Hogan on Christmas Eve sent Vern Gagne a telegram. A telegram was like an
Fax.
urgent. It's an urgent, no fax. It's an
fax.
urgent letter. It's like an urgent letter where they drive to the place and give
Oh,
it to
really?
the person. And yeah, on Christmas Day, so Vern got it the next day because Hogan was supposed to work, and Vern opened the telegram and he was like, "Hogan's not here," because Hogan gave it. That was Hogan's notice. And he didn't work his notice. He had 2 weeks where he didn't work his notice, and he went straight to WWF. But he did that with a lot of people. Junkyard Dog didn't work his notice. Jesse, Heenan, none of those guys worked their notice.
Fucking hell.
Just the only one was Piper. Piper worked his notice.
What was Piper before again? AEW, was he?
He worked for NWA, and he also worked for Dono and two.
Was he at WCW as well?
He never worked for World Class. He
no.
never
What,
worked for
what was the promotion he was at where him and Ric Flair were running ship where they had
That's
both had-
Mid-Atlantic.
Mid-Atlantic, yeah, they both had
which was
Rolexes and
Crockett.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's a complete different Roddy Piper I saw there, you know.
Yeah, that was really good. That was
Oh my gosh, I've never seen Roddy Piper like that before.
I
Like
might have
Flossy.
liked it.
Huh?
I might have liked it.
Yeah, watch it. Go check it out.
you would, yeah, so it's great.
Like he's probably float like got Rolexes and stuff. Like,
Piper and Piper and Flair together,
Yeah.
like they were really, really good together.
And then promo gone.
is he from Saskatoon? Isn't it? Is it
I think
Saskatoon?
he's from Toronto.
Well, who's from Saskatoon that they used to say on the thing? So one wrestler from Saskatoon. I love that place. Though. It sounds nice. Saskatoon. Oh, was it like he mentioned Saskatoon as part of I think it was part of a promo or something. I don't know. Or maybe he done something.
Oh, I don't remember.
Where did he chat shit about Eddie Guerrero? What's it? The Guerreros.
Oh, he used to work. That's when he was in LA.
And all the Mexicans hated him.
Yeah, he
was that
working
Sask?
for,
That wasn't it. That was
no,
that was LA.
San Francisco.
Okay,
He
cool.
worked for San Francisco for Rush Hour.
That's
That's
what
when that happened.
That's
So,
what he
yeah.
called Heat.
Yeah, he used to really race heavy angles.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
He did it in WWF too with Mr. T.
Yeah, that was bad.
Him and David
Yeah,
Schultz
yeah.
used to
the
Dr.
love.
D used to really do that stuff back in the day. Hey, you can't get. I tell you what, you watch that stuff now and it's just awful. It is absolutely awful. Telling Mr. T, why'd you paint yourself black and stuff like that.
Fuck him.
That's not Heat. That's not even Heat. That's the. I can't lie.
Was Schultz the one that slapped the report?
Yeah. Is wrestling fake?
Yeah, he slapped him.
There was some promo I saw time ago. I think was it Vince interviewing him and he's talking about guns and that, talking about the blacks.
Piper.
No. Sure.
David Schultz.
There's some next promo and I was like,
Wasn't there a Vince McMahon interview when he went off on the reporter?
There's a few of those, but there was one where they were pressing him about all the wrestlers that have died and doesn't
Yes.
take responsibility. That was a famous one.
Yeah.
And he didn't take responsibility and he tried to slap the papers out of the guy's hand.
Yeah, I remember that interview.
Vince, I tell you what, you talk about Tony Khan and tweeting and stuff, right? Vince McMahon doesn't put himself in that position anymore because every time he used to go public and have interviews, something like that would happen. He'd freak out. He'd totally freak. Go and watch Vince McMahon on interviews with like Jim Acosta. It's like, he just wows out and he looks bad. So it's like after a while, it's like, I ain't doing this again. I am not doing it. He went on Donahue years ago and
Yeah, is that when he sat next to Dave Meltzer?
And Dave
Meltzer was questioning him.
Dave,
Yeah.
if anything, Dave was helping him because San Martino was against. Everyone was just trying to get him, and it was just like he don't put himself in that position anymore. And you know what? You're a billionaire. Why bother? It's just going to cause. Tony shouldn't be tweeting. Vince McMahon doesn't do interviews like that anymore. Just leave it, just leave it. As by the way, Mr. T has thought of something. Vern Gagne was so pissed off at Vince McMahon, because Vince took all of his talent that he offered Brody $25,000 to attack Mr. T at WrestleMania 1.
Wow.
Bruiser Brody. He
come at
offered him $25,000 to jump the rail and attack Mr. T at WrestleMania 1.
Back then, it's a lot of money.
Also offered the Iron Sheik $100,000 to break Hulk Hogan's leg.
Mad.
Did the man squash their beef before he died? Is Van Gagne?
No, he died. You know what? Vern Gagne actually killed somebody in the retirement home. He had Alzheimer's.
Sorry,
Because he was an Olympic wrestler, and he was like a super. We were talking about
That is crazy.
wrestlers the other day, NK, with Brock, and he was like a fucking amazing wrestler back in the day, and he had Alzheimer's, and when he was in the retirement home,
That's mad.
he suplexed the guy. He was like 80 odd, and he suplexed this 80-year-old man, and the guy died.
I can't so say it. Do you know suplex? It takes two to tango, right? So the person has to stand straight. You can't just.
No, in real fights, you can suplex.
Probably a brain buster.
Dan Severn used to
That's too
suplex
fast,
guys
isn't
in
it?
fights.
Oh, German suplex or like literally.
German suplex, yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Dan used to.
I thought you meant like the standard suplex. Like a jackhammer.
No. Vern, the way they described it, it sounded like a German suplex.
Okay, that's
something
makes
that you
sense,
do in a
yeah,
real wrestling match. But yeah, he German suplex the old man, and the old man died.
Did you see when his toes on the ground like this? I'll go for. I'm laughing at that. Sorry. But you see when he did the jump, his toes in the ground like this. Like,
I hope
that's
so.
mad.
That's fucking
Yo,
insane.
Form.
I mean, did he get the pin or what?
Yo, man, I'm gonna wrap up.
I
Hit 15 minutes.
was just about to say 1, 2.
No, that's not here. That's not here. Bridge.
Kick out.
I want to wrap up the thing because hit 15 minutes, yeah. But Mandem, honestly, I think we should try to do wrestling extra like this if we can. But the phone thing sometimes it can be a bit, you know what I mean?
You don't like it?
It's sick, yeah. But if we're already sitting in the setting,
I hear that.
Sometimes I like it for the chaos though.
yeah,
I like the one you did last week.
about the tour. You
Yeah,
tour.
I like that one. That was
Well,
good.
the Pete Down will never prosper one. Yeah, I like that one.
Oh yeah.
Do you know, okay, next we might run it back. Just run it back. And guys, let us know in the comments, man, if you want to see us standing up or sitting down still. But yeah,
it's fine.
Oh, big up you, man, for coming through the noise all the time.
Fine.
Yeah, but yeah, follow L on all social platforms. Is it Graps Knowledge anything?
Graps Knowledge, yeah. You can find me on Instagram too. Super Judas Staffs on Instagram. See some of my dogs.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, guys, catch you next week.
You just got to the end of the podcast, and if you enjoyed what you've listened to, enjoyed what you watched, enjoyed the vibes, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bow.